Let me ask you this. Do you see games differently now that you've gotten a bit older? I've always loved exploring every inch of these worlds, but lately, I've been looking through a different kind of lens. I now view these timeless locations through the eyes of an irresponsible adult. I know it's quite high up, but I would love a Corona. And mate, becoming an adult is difficult enough. We all deserve a beer from time to time. I know Link certainly does after his arduous quest.
Can't believe Link had to go to Croydon.
Last time out we explored Twilight Princess, and there were some ace locations. This is the same Hyrule, but several hundred years in the past. A legendary destination with incredible spots to uncover. So, let's walk in the footsteps of Hyrule's greatest hero so that we can finally answer the age-old question. Where is the best spot for a beer in Ocarina of Time? I'm not going alone. I've got special guests James and Lorenzo. They've never played this game, so they've got a fresh perspective. The premise of this game is that it's all nice when you're a kid, and when you grow up, everything's just
Story of my life.
This might be an odd way of doing things, but I'm going to start at Hyrule Castle. In my Wind Waker and Twilight Princess quests, this area has always been off limits. But in the child timeline, don't worry, we'll get to the adult one later, this is a splendid location, mate. In real life, one of the best places you could ever have a beer is a garden. Whether it's your garden, a friend's garden, or of course, the local pub garden. My garden is a bit quaint, but it's still one of my favourite spots. So by comparison, a castle courtyard with water features, a couple of hidden rupees to stick on the fruities, and guards securing the premises is a no-brainer high-tier spot. However, the security is a bit of a double-edged sword. The coppers will boot you out if you get a bit leery. A quick word of warning before the next segment. We tried to review Castletown, but honestly, we just ended up talking absolute bollocks. Proceed with caution.
She gets on top of it like I'm a fucking, I don't know, like a go-kart.
Mate, do you know what annoys me in real life? I don't have man hands.
Let me show you my hands.
Send me a pic of your hands. That's the worst photo of a hand I've ever seen.
I got commented on my hands once on a night out. It said, "Oh, you've got real nice." I was like, "Thanks, I bite my cuticles."
Yeah, that's a hand. That's a hand.
Mate, you need to start bricklaying or something. Mate, why is the low-key goth mummies in the shop? She's got green eyes, it's over, bruv.
How do you feel about a back alley beer?
This is the kind of place you go to see the local Albanian.
What do you see the local Albanian for?
Well, I don't see him for anything personally, because I don't see him for anything personally, but certain people might be visiting the local Albanian
for other reasons.
For other reasons, I suppose.
Let me show you some of the miscellaneous spots in Hyrule Field. Of course, there's the classic. Climb up the drawbridge chains, and you've got a lovely view of Lon Lon Ranch. Not great seating up here though. I'm a big fan of the underground grottos, particularly this one with this little fish fella to keep me company. This is where I keep all of my important things. If you want to escape the hustle and bustle, around the corner of Hyrule Castle is one of the best spots to be at. Can't beat the sound of running water, and no one to bother you. If you take a journey over to the other side of the field, you'll find a nice little forest area. Now this is a prime JBL speaker and special brew spot, but unfortunately, you've got these giant flying knobheads knocking about. Some quick ones, but definitely some good ones. Next up, we've got one of the cozier settings on offer, and perhaps a contender for the best individual spot. Kakariko Village is actually one of the most interesting places that changes between ages. Child Link explores a work in progress, but once you become an adult, the once barren building conveniently becomes the new bargain booze, which in this scenario is fine by me. The village is wonderful, and the additions of an off-license really completes it. So now you've picked up your 6-pack of red potion, where are you going to drink it? I know for a fact it isn't the House of Skulltula. This is like when you go to one of them proper nitty afters. I'd keep your drink covered at all times, or you might end up in the cow cage. No. Now that we're out of there, I can unveil my number one pick for the village. The perfect spot is with the chillest guy ever on top of his house. He knows how to live. 7 straight years this fella's been stretched out on top of this woodwork, and for good reason too. It's just high enough up to get a grand view of Death Mountain and spectate the swirly clouds going around. If you can land yourself a seat here in the late afternoon, it's a mint spot to be. Our last location is inside of the windmill. I like live music as much as you do, but in the adult timeline, there's a slight bit of animosity going on. All of the non-stop spinning and lack of sunlight from any windows would send me west. And the bloke's not even got any shoes on. He's asking for a splinter. Far too dangerous for my liking. Let's get out of here, shall we? Adjacent to the village we have the graveyard, which you would assume is a bit of a no-go. Of course we're respectful to the dead. We're not having a piss up on the tombstones. But one of my life goals is to have a nice allotment one day, specifically with a shed on it. You know when you can just chill in there with a tinny, no one to disturb you? Danpe's shed gives me that vibe. A little hut with the smell of wood goes as my sleeper pick for the video. It has to be better than the nearby dungeon at the very least. You see, Death Mountain is a lesson to me that sometimes we should appreciate certain things from a distance. There's a few places we've got to have a gander at. First, there's Dodongo's Cavern, which is a no, for fairly obvious, straightforward danger reasons.
The average American viewer might not know, but this is what happens when you go to Edinburgh Castle.
It's true. I've never been to Edinburgh Castle.
It's on the top of an extinct volcano.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Edinburgh?
Arthur Seat's an extinct volcano.
Nah.
On my nana's backy tin, bruv.
On your nana's backy tin.
My nana just leaves smoke. I don't even have a nana, I have 2 grandmas.
Then we've got the Fire Temple, which actually has quite an interesting foyer. I do love a flame or two. Gives me some cozy local pub vibes. Some may enjoy a whiskey by the fireplace, you know. However, that atmosphere is quickly extinguished by the flaming bats. Mate, the Gorons of this era really weren't all there, were they? There's about 6 of these fellas knocking about, all face down, doing absolutely nothing. Feels prehistoric, especially compared to the future Gorons. So the temple's got nothing, the city's got nothing, and the cavern's got nothing. But the shining star on top of the mountain for me has to be the big Goron. This fella is the real reason to come here. Sound as a pound chap. Just make sure you bring him a really big red stripe when he's done making your sword. Tell you what, let's head home. Kokiri Forest on paper is an absolute belter of a location.
Can we just take into account that you just fucking backflipped off a ladder?
We've got scenic ledges, we've got running water, and we've got peaceful nature. But there's one big problem. It's full to the brim with kids. Look, we can't be silly here, we've got to set a good example for the youth. So all of this area is out of bounds for boozing. That leaves us with one option. We must embark on a journey to go to somewhere that only the adults can reach. And to get there, we've got to go through the Lost Woods. This place reminds me of an experience I had a long time ago. I once drank a London Stout on draft. Later that night when I got home, I was in the shower. When I was clean, I tried to get out. I walked over to the door and I teleported right back in. So I tried it again. One leg out, teleported back in. Let's try it again. One leg out, 2 leg out, walk to the door, teleport right back in. This went on for hours. Terrifying. I don't know what was going on in my brain. That's what the Lost Woods remind me of. And that's the last possible place I'd want to be drinking a beer. Once we're finally through, our next destination has even worse problems. The bouncers aren't friendly, and the temple we've been searching for isn't as peaceful as I'd hoped. My god, the guys from the Skulltula hut must have slipped something in my beer. It's time to do one, let's go. We've had fire, and we've had forest. Maybe the water will treat us a bit better. Is it just me, or does Zora's domain feel a bit like a leisure centre swimming pool? I think it's the nice reflection effect on the wall. I'm going to repeat a point I made on the Twilight Princess video. My guilty pleasure is a watery beer, and I feel like you'd want that in a watery place. Like, come on, we're not splitting the G here. Nothing too heavy on the belly if you're going to go swimming. You've got to pick the right beer for the right job, and the context of where you are really matters. But apart from the cliff diving and paddling about, it's a bit limited in here. The real gold is found outside. If you're feeling daring, you can navigate through the ice caverns, and you'll be rewarded with a wonderful illuminated room. It's a bit chilly, but worth it because of its party piece. A small square of the coldest water you'll find. Float your 6-pack in here, and you'll have the crispiest ice-chilled beers within minutes. Oh, and in case you were wondering about Jabba Jabu's belly, no. Following our aquatic theme, let's paddle down to Lake Hylia. This is the Kabagman Power Hour again, if you hadn't already noticed. It's currently Friday night, 11:30. Sometimes you need a Cronenberg or two, you know? Hanging out by the water's got a bit of a personal connection to me. I used to have a friend a long time ago. We'd routinely head to the water, and we didn't have nothing. I mean, we had a pack of Uno cards and a couple of drinks, but that's all we'd need. Through that person, I learned that you can really do whatever you want in life. There's nothing stopping you from taking a beer to the local body of water and just hanging out. I might not be making these ridiculous video premises had I not learned that. It's funny, innit? It's like all we do in life is work and grind away all year, completely in pursuit of relaxing by some kind of water. Be it a pool, a sea, or a lake. Maybe those folks on the floating villages have got it right. Anyway, being prompted to think about all of these things just by looking at this one lake means that it's probably an incredible spot for a beer. I'm not even capping, he does look a bit like you.
Yeah, he actually does. He actually does.
Let's have a quick peek in the fishing hole. This was my nostalgia pick for Twilight Princess. It's a little bit more bare bones here, but it really lives up to the name fishing hole, you know? You got your pond, you've got your fish, and you've got the ancient Hylian master fisherman with a ridiculously itchy armpit. You already know it's a top tier spot, come on. Oh mate, is this the best Zelda soundtrack? The Gerudo Valley is our first hot location. We all love a sol in the sun, don't we? The bridge is the most scenic of the spots. Make sure you packed your super box on Epona before you head off, because once you get here, there's not much in the way of refrigeration, and that's not much worse than a warm beer. If it does get too hot though, at least you can hurtle yourself off into the drink below. Not advised. A little bit further down the road is the fortress. You'd think they'd have an on-site bar, wouldn't you? But the whole place is a bit too hostile. Like when you walk into a real local pub and you ain't from the area, you get in stairs and you'll have one and go. I'd advise skipping here and moving on to the haunted wasteland. Some sentence that is. Most good things in life come after hard work. You can't have reward all of the time. Sometimes you need a journey and a battle. If you can manage to best the environment, you'll end up at the Desert Colossus. You'd like to think you'd be rewarded for your arduous journey, wouldn't you? There was an oasis. We've got the coconut trees and the vessel for some water, but without actually having said water. It's just a hole in sand. A real letdown, honestly. It's going to the bottom. Can't believe we've been robbed of a desert oasis beer. As we head to our final location, I'd like to thank you for watching. It's been more of a personal ramble than in previous videos, but I hope you enjoyed it still. Lon Lon Ranch feels like victory. You won. You're on the ranch, having a beer. Although I do have one question. How did they manage to get the cows through the door? Kinda big. For the great simplicities in life, this is the very best. There's no particular reason that I could tell you. It's just the feeling. The characters gather here in the credits of the game, and I'm giving Lon Lon Ranch the credit of being the best spot for a beer in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
No, so I've come back home. Kathy's gone shopping, so I'm going to sit here and have a glass of beer.
Oh, fucking brilliant. What are you drinking, bud?
Yes, it'll be bud, mate. So,
Yeah, best beer.
Yeah. Anyhow, I'll leave you to get on with your work, mate.
Hey, enjoy yourself. And please don't forget to join the Discord. We'd love to have you. Thank you to all of my lovely channel members. You guys really keep me going. Aussie Will, Metal Pipe, Young Mallard, Sellout Stevius, 8 Eat Null, Chance, Vanilla Gorilla, The Cougar Hunter, Evil Go Lily, Erasal V4, Caffeine, Timster, and Constant. Catch you next time.